Hi there, I'm Amir and let's talk about film. The film that I want to talk about is called Nostalgia. Now, this film is a 1983 film directed by Andrei Tarkovsky. The film tells the story about Andrei, a Russian writer who came to Italy to research about the famous 18th century Russian composer named Pavel Sosnovsky. During his stay in Italy, he got wrapped up with the feeling of loneliness and longing for his homeland Russia. His translator, Eugenia, can't solve his loneliness and keep remarking how she also feels isolated because of her place as a woman in the society. Andre then met Domenico, a social oddity who used to confine himself and his family for 7 years, believing that the end of the world is upon them before being freed by the police. Domenico later gave Andre a candle and tell him to carry it across the, the spring, a hot spring. It's called Saint Catherine hot spring, and believing that it will save the world. Later, he gave a speech about how everyone should unite and help each other before he light himself on fire, while audience around him just stand there and watch without helping him and doing nothing. Only the sound of the howling dog, who has been tied up and cannot do anything to help him. Andre then go to the already drained hot spring and try to carry the light helplessly to carry the candle light across the pool of the Saint Catherine. He managed to cross it and put the candle onto the ledge before he collapsed. And then the film's end. Speaking of the candle scene, uh, I need to address about what I understand about the scene, the famous scene of the film actually, and maybe the entire film history. Uh, that this scene is try to show us about the humanity who try and fail and try again in saving the world, and that's what I see from the symbolic of the candle, the candle fire that when Domenico is the humanity who carried the spirit, the fire of the humanity, the spirit of the unity, as what the film tried to put forth to and try to put it to the another side of the pole, which symbolizes an obstacle, almost a sea of obstacle that humanity itself need to face in order to create a better world. So he kept trying and trying and trying, but in the end he managed to do it. So what's the director trying to tell about this scene? Just like I said before, it is a symbolize to humanity perseverance in making the world a better place, in uniting uh, the people around the world to combat the loneliness inside our heart and this loneliness of the existence itself. So this is what nostalgia meant. Uh, Something that humanity have lost, but and we try to reclaim back. But either it is impossible or not, it means that we need to try. Humanity need to keep trying. What I like about this film is it's a very melancholic film. This is made during the time when Andrei Tarkovsky uh, were, were live in exile after he he became an expatriate on Italy, where he left his country Soviet Union during that time due to some disagreement with the film board Goskino. It is like the Soviet censorship board, uh, in which Andrei Tarkovsky keep disagreeing about how he want to make his film, and how the government want him to make a film that is more appealing to the Soviet ideology. And this this film is quite like just like a personal letter about himself, because it is noted by one of the scriptwriter for this film, Tonino Guerra, that Andre himself, the director, not the character, but the director for the film, Andre himself kept remarking how he he missed his homeland, he missed Russia, but he cannot go back. He cannot allow. He wasn't even allowed to return to Russia, and he also being denied by the Russian government, by the Soviet government, from being present in the Cannes Film Festival for this film Nostalgia. So this film is kind of reflection on his life, on his feeling of loneliness as being a Russian in Italy. And for some reason, I rarely found any full review except from the Renegade Cut film, from the Renegade Cut video essay that dissect this film, tell and analyze it, which is very interesting for me. It's a very interesting and quite underrated film. His among of his 7 masterpieces. People seem don't really talk about it, but this, unlike unlike the Mirror, which is also a Tarkovsky's most personal film, but Nostalgia also is his most personal film. He dedicated this film to his mother, as said in the end of the film, where he did as said in the end of the credit title. And this is not an easy film for anyone who want to watch, because this is a very very slow and what we call quiet film. It really barely have any soundtrack, and this director also love to have a very long uninterrupted long takes, which I believe, compared to the most of how Hollywood film that we used to watch, a fast-paced editing and action-packed movies that we get used to it. So this is not a film for anybody to watch, but I highly recommend if you want to know more about Tarkovsky, and you want to know more about this movement that he later quite innovated. I do not know the word that he later basically found. It's called the slow cinema movement, where people rely on the build up of emotion with the long takes and without any cuts, a very fast paced cut, everything. It's very a slow burn film. So this is what I recommend for anyone who want to start. Yes, some other people want to would suggest people should start with Ivan's childhood, but for me, I want them to start with Nostalgia, because this is a very basically a statement. His what Andrei Tarkovsky has been feeling about when he was exiled. This is the second last film before The Sacrifice. In 1986, if I quite remember. Andrei Tarkovsky only have 7 films, and all of them is masterpiece. And this film speaks to me as much as his other masterpieces, like Stalker and also The Sacrifice. And it's a very very beautiful film. And if you want to watch it, you can find it on YouTube. it has been subbed, and the quality is quite good also. And that's all for me. And see you guys later.